This is the show of record, the definitive source for tracking Altadina's roots, resilience, recovery, and reunion. These stories will now live on for students, scholars, researchers, and journalists seeking truth and legacy in the months and years to come. Because history isn't just made, it's honored, it's recorded, and it's passed forward. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
We're just trying to close up the wealth gap, get to this generational wealth, bet that. We're gonna lift off like a jetpack. Time to tune in, not just speaking real facts. Right here is everything you need. This ain't no get rich quick thing. Create your own economy. Cause we're ahead of the crypto curve, yeah. Create your own economy. Let's get ahead of the crypto curve, yeah. Learn from the queen of crypto, your host, Naja Roberts, leading people out of financial slavery through Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Create your own economy. Let's get ahead.
Good morning, everyone on the West Coast, and good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast and in between. I'd like to welcome you, all of you beautiful people, to Ahead of the Crypto Curve, your go-to show where we break down the good, the bad, the ugly, and the bullish in the world of cryptocurrency. And y'all know what? This show is tailor-made for our community. I'm your host, Naja Roberts, and it is my mission in life to lead my people out of financial slavery on this virtual underground railroad. I don't just do this show to change the way you think about money, but to make you change the way you look at money and everything else around you, because it absolutely matters. Today is Sunday, April 27th, 2025, and what an incredibly beautiful day it is. No matter where you are, it should be a beautiful day. And so I'm excited about today's show because there's a little bit of history coming today about me in the cryptocurrency space and some inspiration that I got very early on that a lot of people don't even know happened. And so I'm going to talk about that today. And I'm also going to say again what a difference a week makes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you had a birthday this week or today, I want to say happy birthday to you today. I hope that your day, your birthday is today. All right. Well, our fabulous engineer, happy birthday to you. Mr. Simeon, I just want, I want to say happy birthday to everybody that had a birthday this week. I hope that your birthday, your week, your month is filled with all the love, joy, happiness, peace, understanding that you deserve on your birthday. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you like a shout out for your birthday, please feel free to send me a text message at 424-317-7373. Again, 424-317-7373. And so I'm super excited about today's show. Today we're going to talk about probably the least likely thing that a lot of you don't even know about me in this cryptocurrency space, and that's Nipsey Hussle and what inspiration he had on me in the cryptocurrency space. And we're going to talk about that today. But we're also going to talk about El Salvador, the country of El Salvador. And we're going to do that because this weekend actually opened my eyes again to our community and some insight and just what it is that we need as a community to really overhaul our financial situation. And so as I did yesterday, do the Black Writers on Tour with Dr. Rosie Milligan yesterday, which was an incredible event. Unfortunately, it rained really hard, and I think a lot of people didn't come out because of the rain, but the event itself was a success. The people that I met, the connections that I made was absolutely phenomenal. So I'm excited about that. And then right after that, I took the stage at Ways for their fourth annual Business Grind Out, right on the corner of Crenshaw and Manchester. And that was an incredible presentation. I don't know if they taped it, I don't know what they did, but ladies and gentlemen, I have gotten down on a lot of presentations, but I'll tell you, I got down on that presentation so much so to nobody got out of their seat for the entire hour to go to the restroom, to do anything. It was just absolute attention grabbing, and really getting some facts out about what we're dealing with now and what our mindset needs to be around this thing called cryptocurrency. And not only that, what we should actually be partaking in, what we should be putting our attention to, what we should not allow us to distract us. And so I came from a different perspective because everybody expected me to take the stage and talk about cryptocurrency, which I did in a sense, but more so just making sure that our community is understanding what our mindset needs to be and why cryptocurrency is so important in versus the traditional systems that we've been used to and or forced to be involved in because we had no other options. But when there are options available, we need to take those options. And so today we're going to be talking about El Salvador because they did what is equivalent to what we're going to need to do, and I'll explain that, very shortly. But we are in, you're in for a treat today. I have a book signing coming up next week here in the city of Los Angeles at Nipsey Hussle's stepfather's restaurant. Is called the Bayou Grill. That's going to be next Saturday. And so I'm leading up to that and really trying to make everybody see and understand how early we are, still early we are. A lot of people don't feel like we're early. They feel like Bitcoin is too much right now and they're not early, and but you are super super early because things are just now starting to take the real form. And so I'm very excited about where our community can be if we pay attention. And so I am going to, in the month of May, launch a opportunity for our community to start to build where each one of our families that are listening and involving themselves can at least acquire 1 million satoshis. And that's not a hard thing right now. That's like about $940 just based on the price of Bitcoin. So we're going to get into launching something for the Black community so that everybody at least has 1 million satoshis in their portfolio, in addition to all the things that we do. But ladies and gentlemen, when we come forward, we are going to start to break down a couple of my inspirations, and then we're going to talk about what we need to do as a community. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
In a moment, more with Naja Roberts as we get ahead of the crypto curve on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm going to turn that down so we don't have the commercial in our ear. And beg everybody's, I had a very very busy weekend this weekend. Black Writers on Tour was absolutely incredible. I got an opportunity to see in person, I'll say that, Dr. Relaford, who owns right now one of the largest black farms in America. And y'all know I'm been talking about sovereignty with our food. And so he has a farm called Bloom Ranch that's right here in California. It's in Acton, California. So I got an opportunity to see him and his team get to work at the Black Writers on Tour because the writers were inside and they were outside selling things. And it was just an incredible opportunity. And so I want to say debuted my book, The Queens in Crypto. You can see that there. Queens in Crypto. I'm super, super excited about the book. And ladies and gentlemen, when I looked at my book compared to other people's books, this book is really formatted wonderfully. It is a great read. It's an easy read. It's just really educating people on how to get started. Even though it says a Black woman's guide, it's all of our guide. But, since I'm a queen and I give and pay homage to the Black women that came before me and my sisters that are in the struggle right now, that's why I did that. But this book is for anybody. So if you have a mother, a sister, a auntie, or a brother, a cousin, get this book because it'll help you understand some of the language and the jargon and the thoughts around purchasing cryptocurrency. It gets rid of the stigmatism about cryptocurrency because you know something about it. And so I am praying that everybody will grab a copy. It's on Amazon, and it's I can sign it. Again, I'm doing a book signing next Saturday at the Bayou Grill in Inglewood from 1 to 4. So I am excited about that, and I appreciate everybody, and much love to you. We are about 30 how many seconds? 30 seconds. We're about 30 seconds back on the radio, and so we're going to get going with that. So there is just so much goodness happening. Somebody reached out to me about going on tour this summer. I'm not quite sure what I want to do and how I want to do it, but I definitely will be in some cities. So I got to get that together. So I'll give you all that information, those of you on the East Coast. All right, welcome forward, welcome forward. And so just to give a little bit of history about Nipsey Hussle and myself. Nipsey is from Southern California. I used to see him at the gas station all the time. Didn't you see him? I used to see his video shoots and things of that sort. And because he was much younger than me, there was a lot of buzz around him back in the day. And I say back in the day, not too long ago. It seems like not too long ago, but time is really passing fast. But I used to hear the buzz about him and how much of an entrepreneur he was, selling his mixtapes out of his trunk. And at one time, even one of my sons had a very close girlfriend of his that was one of Nipsey's family members, and I had heard about her and that sort of thing. And so I really started taking a look at this kid. That's kind of what I felt like he was. And so I started to really find out that he had a much bigger role than mixtapes and rapping and things like that. And he had a real vision for where our community needed to be and where we needed to go. And he had a grasp on his peers that was very mesmerizing to me. And so I started to really do some research, especially when I got into the cryptocurrency space, and I found out that Nipsey was interested in cryptocurrency. So I started taking a look at his role as an investor in the cryptocurrency space and his advocacy for actually having economic empowerment through technology. And so there were a lot of things that happened with Nipsey very early on, and I don't even think people knew, but Nipsey Hussle was a philanthropist, and he was really dedicated to our community. So we have our own thoughts as to what actually, we know what happened to him, but why did that actually happen? And I really feel like he had such a massive grasp on what the community could do to empower themselves and to do better, that they really didn't want to see somebody really pull the community together and do the things that they needed to do ultimately, like in the long run. And so he believed in ownership, and he believed in creating generational wealth. And so it was relevant when he started talking about cryptocurrency, and I heard him, but he, like me, found that our community was not ready for what it was we have been trying to say about the cryptocurrency space. And but he was relevant in when he was trying to get this thing going with cryptocurrency, and he was trying to raise the adoption of and understanding of cryptocurrency during his time. He had a couple of quotes that he had stated, and that's why I didn't start my show with a quote today. I'll start it because I was going to talk about his quotes, because Nipsey actually said, and I quote, "I just believe in ownership, and that heavily applies to cryptocurrency. It's a new asset that represents freedom." And I just, when I saw that, I said, okay, so he understands cryptocurrency, and like, what is he doing with the youth to help them understand? And what is he doing as an investor? And so I found out that he was investing in a coin called Follow Coin. And similar to, and I don't want to say similar to what Isaac Hayes III is doing with fan base, but he knew that all of us are on social media. A lot of us are looking for followers and subscribers, and you got to like and subscribe. And he knows you, he knew YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all of those would not pay us the way that they needed to pay us. And so he invested in a company called Follow Coin, and it was more than just a financial choice. It was an opportunity for him to bring wealth to his actual peers, those that were his age that were in the social media and all of those things. And so his Follow Coin investment and early belief in cryptocurrency led a lot of eyes to the cryptocurrency space. And although I was already in the cryptocurrency space, I literally saw this and I was like, man, this kid is on to something. And so as I began to continue to watch him go over to Amsterdam and talk about how he could use cryptocurrency over there, he literally was doing these videos about that and talking about everything that needed to be done with our community. He started this in, I know it was well before 2017, but 2017 was when I actually realized that this kid is not only an investor in the community, but he's an investor in cryptocurrency. And he is creating a platform that was designed to really simplify the understanding of investing in cryptocurrency and all of those things, but at the same time, allowing people to monetize some things on social media. And so Nipsey believed that cryptocurrency was not just another tech trend, but potentially a pathway for our communities that have been excluded from traditional financial systems to build generational wealth. When I read that and I realized that, that is when the aha moment happened for me. And so I was looking at him with this Follow Coin and I was saying to myself, all of the pillars that Nipsey stands for, I really I rock with him. And I think we were 30 years apart. And so I started writing and putting together something called the Hustle Coin, Hussle, Hustle Coin. And I put together this whole package and um I went to his store and left the first packet there for him to take a look at it because again the coin was centered around purchasing property in the community, which is ownership, creating a place where artists can come and be indie artists because he was really big about being an indie artist. He had his whole mind of his own and some other things, and then of course the cryptocurrency side and the educational part. And then, as you all know, at that time, I had a brick and mortar cryptocurrency exchange of my own. And so I was saying, hey, we could partner with this space to, get some things going and make some things happen. And so all of those things were actually in my business plan centered around Hustle Coin because people would be paid in Hustle Coin. People would use Hustle Coin. And just like you're saying Bitcoin today, we would have had a Hustle Coin that wouldn't have been a Bitcoin, but it would have been a coin that we as a community could have invested in to start to buy things like duplexes and commercial spaces and, all those things. And so I was really, really excited about that. So I left my business plan there. There's lots of gatekeepers and things that happen around with when you have people that are superstars. So he didn't get that actual business plan, but I did have an opportunity after following up to come back in and actually present my business plan. And of course, he said he was going to take a look at it and we will follow up in the next 2 to 3 weeks and we will sit down and we figure this thing out because he was really, really into crypto. And so was I, of course, at the time. And unfortunately, about a week and a half later, I was in my office actually in Inglewood, and I got the call that he had been unalived. And I actually was in absolute shock. And I have to say, a lot of things, a lot of people in my life have transitioned over the years of growing up here in South Central Los Angeles. Family members have transitioned, But there was something that hit me different with this. And the reason why is because I really had not just uh, felt uh I don't even know what the actual word is, but I felt a kindred spirit in exactly what he was trying to do for the community. And because he had such a major grasp on the younger community, I thought, you know what? He could get them involved in cryptocurrency the right way with his influence. And it wasn't me utilizing him for anything because he was already doing the work, but it was just the influence that he had on the youngsters in the community. I thought this would be absolutely incredible. And so that day, I wrote something for not that day. It took me a little bit of time because actually that next day, if you look at my social media, I went to the Slauson swap meet. I'm a Chuck Taylor wearer anyway. I grew up loving Chuck Taylors. But I got up that next morning after his murder, and I went to Slauson swap meet, bought myself some black Chuck Taylors, and I sat in my car. And as I was getting on the freeway on I remember getting on the 10 freeway coming from someplace else that morning and seeing that somebody had just totally tagged a picture of Nipsey Hussle up on a billboard. And I mean, it was just, I knew then that the devastation that I was feeling was not just myself. And really for me, it was a sense that the opportunity for our youngsters to really get into cryptocurrency and understand the investing aspect of it from somebody who had a sane, level head. And I'm saying that sane, level head, that wasn't trying to capitalize, that wasn't trying to make everything glitter gold. I just felt like that opportunity had just absolutely died along with him the day before. And so as I sat for a couple of days, I wrote a poem, which I'm going to read this Saturday at my book signing at Nipsey Hussle's stepfather's restaurant. It's called Bayou Grill in Inglewood. As I sat, I wrote about what he meant to me as far as the cryptocurrency space was concerned. But not only that, what he meant to the community and what was lost that day that he passed. And so, that being said, for those of you that don't know, there was a marathon processional for his funeral that actually came in front of my cryptocurrency exchange. And I think I fed about 300 people that day. Barbecue. I had a barbecue grill out front waiting on the funeral procession. There were probably about 1,000 people in my block that were there to pay their respects as the casket and the family caravan came around. And it was really, really important to me that the world knew that Nipsey was into cryptocurrency and that he was an inspiration. And so I had this massive banner out front, some of which you'll be able to see on my social media in the next couple of days. Because as we lead up to this event on Saturday, introducing my book and book signing, you all will get to learn about that. But that's kind of the history. And then after that, um, I went on to try to get Black Sam to do a hustle coin. So you all know that I didn't just give up because of that. And with so many things going on and so many unknowns at the time, it did not happen. And then unfortunately, after that, ladies and gentlemen, somebody that I actually employed, an attorney that I had employed for so long in the cryptocurrency space, that helped me do the things that I needed to do with the SEC and make sure that my exchange was the way that it needed to be in the cryptocurrency space. He actually took my hustle coin idea and went to market with it without asking of the family and without having the graces of the family. Y'all know how that went, because Nipsey's family ain't playing on a lot of those things. And when people found out what they were doing, they stepped to them. I even saw some comments in there like, y'all stole this from Naja. And I was really excited that the community said, you know what, you're not going to come from outside and do something for our community. So that coin never amounted to much. They may have got a couple of bucks. And in fact, they pulled Busta Rhymes in on it too. And it was on Busta Rhymes posts of him talking about hustle coin, that somebody came in and said, y'all know what, Naja, that's Naja's idea that y'all stealing it. And so I know they were like, he was like, who is Naja? Because he had no idea. He had just been called by this attorney. And so once he found that out, once Busta Rhyme found that out, once I think the community started the backlash, they were like, I think we better back up off the hustle coin. But it's always been in my mind, it's always been in my heart, and it is a pleasure to be able to honor him this coming weekend at his stepfather's grill, Bayou Grill in Inglewood, as we talk about Nipsey in the cryptocurrency space. And I just wanted to give y'all that little bit of history. I'm even going to have the artist come out. His name is Inkone, Enkone. He drew me a beautiful picture of Nipsey that hung in my office for a year. Absolutely awesome painting that he was able to get $100,000 for. After I gave him the painting back, I was attached to the painting. It was the biggest thing in my office for a long time. And so I'm gonna have Ink come out next weekend, and he's gonna be prayerfully drawing something maybe not as big and as beautiful as that one, but I'm really excited about next weekend, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all at the book signing for The Queens in Crypto. Again, the Bayou Grill in Inglewood. That's Nipsey Hussle's stepfather, and that is going to be from 1 to 4. And come have some food, enjoy the food, enjoy the time. We're going to talk a lot of bit about cryptocurrency and really getting our community on the path of 1 million Satoshis. So 1 million Satoshis, ladies and gentlemen, as of today is $942. Now, you can get that anywhere you want to get it, but we want to make sure that you are self-custodying that 1 million Satoshis. And once you get up to that, you might not even have $942, but you can start with $5, $10, and just continuously buy Satoshis. Sacrifice a whole entire month or two, and we're going to do 60 days to 1 million Satoshis. So for those of you that don't have Satoshis, please, we're going to work on doing this week. When we come forward after news, sports, and traffic, we will continue the conversation. This is KBLA Talk 1580. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Um, Let me see. I met a lady. I heard of a lady this weekend that is in the cryptocurrency space that I didn't know of, and I don't know that any of you know, but we are looking, or I'm looking to really collaborate with people that are in the space right now. I think collaboration is the new business model. And so if you know churches, if you know anybody at a HBCU, if you know anybody that is a community leader, and I'm not talking about, I mean, I can deal with movie stars or basketball players and football players. And they may have some influence, and I'm not saying I don't want them, because if you know some of those people, I would love to have them as well. But we really need to go into organizations like our churches and our HBCUs and some of our social organizations and really get the word out. And the presentation is a little bit different because we're in a state of an emergency financially, ladies and gentlemen. And I see it coming, and our community is continuing to fall further and further and further behind. And it's going to take us so much more to get back on track. So I want to make sure that we're getting this information out. I'm willing to travel, as long as people will help with some portion of the cost, whether it's the plane or the hotel or whatever it is. I'm willing to get this information out. So please spread the word that I am working on 1 million families getting 1 million Satoshis. And so that's a big feat, but it can be done. And we can do this as a community. And I'm super, super excited to be leading that. And again, you can get my book online at Amazon. You can go to Amazon and Google it. You'll have it in 2 days. It only takes 2 days for the book to get to you. And so again, it's a great read, and I'm really super excited about everything that's going on as far as the tour is concerned. I am waiting on one of my sponsors to really figure out if they want to go on tour with me or not. And then we're going to start coming up with some dates. But I'm pretty sure we're going to hit at least 10 cities this summer to really educate everybody and share with you what's happening as it relates to the presidential. I don't even know what to call them, not even the cabinet, the people that are the oligarchy that's running this country. They got a lot of agendas within their small group. And so we want to make sure that we are in alignment with that and we're understanding how well and what that's going to do for us. And so I want to make sure our community is positioned because we got to come out on the other side of money and we got to get on the other side of money in the right way as quick as possible and as safe as possible. So with that, that's that. And then for those of you who have not signed up for Fanbase, I am on Fanbase and I'm doing a lot of events inside of Fanbase. So get on Fanbase. I'm not even trying to come back to Clubhouse because Clubhouse is great, but Clubhouse is not for us by us. So Fanbase is. So I want to work on Fanbase and I'm going to continue to say, if you have not downloaded the Fanbase app, do so. And I am, full disclosure, an investor in Fanbase, and you should be too, because right now they've got a raise going on. I think it's on, not I think it's on Kickstarter, and we want to support. There's another project that I'm working on, an 824-acre ranch in San Diego. I'll be on Kickstarter with that. Doing some meetings actually today in the city to really solidify our need to have food sovereignty. And I think I know we can do it. And so I'm going agricultural tech, I'm going agriculture tourism. And yes, fan base is one word. Fan base is purple with the purple F. It is fan base all together. And if you know Isaac Hayes, you know Isaac Hayes' son is Isaac Hayes the third. It is his social media platform. It is similar to Facebook. We got 10 seconds before I come back on. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to jump into our talking points and we're going to go from there. All right, welcome forward, welcome forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you just heard, we are going to be doing some incredible things in the next coming week. So please get to my social media, follow me on social media. Again, I will be coming across the United States. So please get your books ready for book signings. We're going to talk about that. But what I want to move your attention to in the cryptocurrency space today is the talk about El Salvador. As I was presenting yesterday and talking to our community, and they were asking questions, and I did a cigar and crypto last night as well too. That went absolutely phenomenal. So I actually had 3 events yesterday, and so just answering those questions really let me know, ladies and gentlemen, that we are in the right place at the right time. And I've always known that I was early. I've known that I was very early, but what I saw yesterday in the crowd was the yearning for the right education about this space. I saw people that were saying, or after the event, people came up to me and said, "Hey, you know what? I was about to walk out when I heard the word crypto because I thought it was a scam. I thought it was this. I thought it was that." And after you broke it down, I really understand what it is. But one other thing that I know is our community, unfortunately, has to see somebody else doing something successful before they'll actually jump in and make some things happen. And I've been saying from the very beginning that we need to look at what El Salvador is doing and we need to mimic it as the Black community. And I'm still going to say that. Right now, El Salvador has over 688 Bitcoin in their reserve, which is estimated at approximately $574 million. Do you know what our community could do if all of us had a little small portion of Bitcoin. We had those Satoshis, and we equaled up to 574 million if we needed to put all of our money together. But I have to preface this with saying El Salvador was the poorest country out there. And so this transformation is making waves across the globe. And you all don't even understand. When I saw those immigrants getting deported to El Salvador, I wasn't excited because they were getting deported. Y'all know what I was excited about? The fact that El Salvador had the money to build that prison that was absolutely incredible. If you saw it on the news, they built that, but just 5, 6 years ago, they were poor. They could have never built anything that beautiful, which lets you know when you have money in your arsenal, you have options, you have things that you can do. And the reason he built that prison is because I don't know if you remember, but his country was gang riddled. There were so many gangs in and throughout El Salvador. He had to crack down on crime. Sounds familiar in some of our communities. And I'm not saying we need to crack down on crime and put everybody in prison. But ladies and gentlemen, if there is things that are happening and they're gang related and citizens are losing their lives and things of that sort, there's some things that we need to do. There's housekeeping that we need to do. But going back to El Salvador, he's been able to he's been able to live up to what he said he was going to do for his community, which is cleaning it up. I've heard and talked to people that are in El Salvador. They say they don't have to lock their doors anymore, and it's become one of the safest nations. And they got a grip because they were able to pull themselves out of poverty, and now they're on the fast track to prosperity. It's exactly something that our community needs to do. El Salvador's leadership saw the promise of Bitcoin. And what I'm hoping is that our community leaders will see the promise of Bitcoin. And it's going to take a minute. I know that there's a lot of work that I've got to do to help our community leaders see the promise of Bitcoin. But one of the things is they didn't wait for permission. And so what I'm going to ask our community to do is stop waiting on somebody else's permission to make something happen, which is with your family, with your community, with your church, with your colleges. Don't worry about what the rest of the world is thinking. Just take the leap, just like they did in El Salvador, and you'll see what's actually happening. Because right now in El Salvador, businesses are growing, tourism is booming, and people are empowered with the financial tools that they've never, ever had before. Their economy is no longer shackled by the old systems that left them in the dust. Ladies and gentlemen, the old systems have shackles on us that are leaving us in the dust, and we are still participating and wanting to participate. But what El Salvador is doing is they are thriving. Imagine what could happen if the Black community would just embrace Bitcoin just a little bit, like El Salvador has. We are sitting in the middle of the biggest wealth transfer in the world, the biggest transfer that this world has ever seen. But it's only going to work if we take action as a community. Our community could choose to close this wealth gap that has been holding us down for generations. And yeah, I say holding us down. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not asking for any handouts. We don't even need a hand up anymore. We got a way to get up out of this rut that we're in as a community. And Bitcoin gives us the financial independence and the freedom from all of these predatory systems and ownership. Again, going back to what Nipsey was saying, it gives us ownership of our future. We can do this. We don't need them. And every time I think about it, I think about Erica Badu and her song that says, "The mothership can't save you, so your ass is gonna get left." And if we don't get it together, we are going to get left because the mothership ain't coming to save us. So, family, this is not a pipe dream. This is real. It is happening in real time. Bitcoin specifically is our ticket to building generational wealth and closing the wealth gap. And I said that as a financial advisor, it was the first time when I was a financial advisor that I saw some optimistic way for us to make a change. And those of us who have done it back in 2016, 2017, we're doing way better than we were back then. But ladies and gentlemen, that can be you as well. I can't tell you how much to invest and what to invest, but I'll tell you what I told the listeners yesterday. Whatever you can afford to lose on a monthly basis, that's what you need to be putting into Bitcoin. And the question keeps coming. Well, what about this coin? And what about this coin? And what about this coin? Absolutely, you can make money in all of those coins, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm talking about the staple. And when we think about our grandparents and what they used to do when they used to cook at home every single day, there was no fast food. They had staples. Those staples were sugar and flour and baking powder and the necessities and salt and pepper, the things that they needed, that where they could create anything almost out of those ingredients. Well, ladies and gentlemen, time is of the essence. We need to act now with the staple, and that staple needs to be Bitcoin. And no, you don't have to spend $94,000. You can spend $94 or $9.40 and really just start to get those Satoshis into your portfolio. We need to act now because there may not be another opportunity as the price of Bitcoin continues to raise a little higher and higher. So let's look at building a legacy for the next generation, our ancestors. And I love and thank and adore every single one of our ancestors that fought for our freedom. And as I look at this current administration, and we talking about we have survived 400 years of this country, we have survived 400 years of this country. And I saw somebody with a shirt on yesterday that said we can survive 4 more. Well, I hate to break the bad news to you, ladies and gentlemen, but this 4 is not all we got coming. I think we need to brace ourselves for 12. And then after that, we've got to know that the harm that they're doing right now to our community specifically is going to take us 20 to 30 years to reel back from. But we can only do it if we have the economic wherewithal to do that. And our leaders, such as Jesse Jackson, and I'm not going to get into all of these folks, but they are not paying attention to what we need to do to close this wealth gap. And so I'm reaching out. If any of you know any of them, please feel free to get me in touch with them, because some of our organizations, I don't even know if I want to even deal with half of them, because they're really not, in my opinion, they haven't been all the way for our community. But I do need to reach out to some of these organizations and get this education out there. But ladies and gentlemen, when we come forward, we'll continue the conversation. This is KBLA Talk 1580. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on a quick break. So if you're out there listening and you know anybody from the Rainbow Push Coalition or NAACP, or I'm a member of National Congress and Negro Women and National Council of Negro Women, and also the Congress of Black Women. But we really need to get with, I've done some things for Delta Sigma Theta in the past. We need to get them back to the table. AKAs, Qs, Kappas. We need to get this education out there. And the message has changed dramatically, because now we have a presidential administration that is cryptocurrency oriented. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ours. If you're listening to me and you're on today, if you can share with me, not share live, because I don't want you to do that, because people don't need to know that you got cryptocurrency, but you can share with me by sending me a text message to 424-317-7373. Again, 424-317-7373. Just let me know if you've got your Satoshis, a million, at least a million Satoshis, because what I'm going to start doing is really trying to gauge that million. And so I'm going to launch that on May the 1st, leading up to my book signing on May the 3rd, and then beyond. We're going to do 60 days. And I want to talk to and get involved with 1 million families to get them to purchase at least 1 million Satoshis. And so that's going to be my thing this summer. And I don't know if that's going to take me on the road. I don't know if that's just going to keep me on social media talking. But I need your help. I need you to help spread the word. And then as people get their 1 million Satoshis, they're going to give me their first and last name initial, because I don't need people to know all people's business. So that's just one of the things that I'm going to be doing. So I'm super excited about that and looking forward to making sure that our community is equipped with their Bitcoin and also equipped with gold as well. And so I talk about that. I am going to be doing the gold backs, because what I don't want people to do is fall on hard times and then they want to sell their Bitcoin. And so, yeah, I know he has one right here on KBLA. Yes, I know. But I'm talking about Rainbow Push Coalition. So thank you for that, Urban Spinster. I definitely know Jesse Jackson Jr. is right here on KBLA. Um, he sits in the same studio I do, so absolutely, yes. So answer your question, yes. I was talking more about other leaders like maybe even Ricky Smiley, just different people, individuals. And even though you're close to home, a lot of times it's hard for people to introduce you to something if they don't actually believe it. And I'm not saying Tavis doesn't believe in cryptocurrency, but I am saying that if somebody else maybe has a closer connection to things like that, it always helps. So thank you for that, and I appreciate you for that. Um, appreciate you for that. So we're gonna jump back in. He told me I got about 1 minute, so we are going to come back on the radio. Got a few more minutes. All right, welcome forward, welcome forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say my newer presentation, because it's not like I don't do this presentation anyway. Really trying to take people through the evolution of money and how we got to this cryptocurrency space and why it's important. I've actually added in more of a mindset thing as to helping our community understand right now who controls the money at every juncture in the road, and it always goes back to the Federal Reserve. And so if we're ever going to get our financial independence in this here country, we have got to know that we cannot rely on the predatory systems or the middleman, and the middlemen are the bankers. And so with the OCC, Office of Comp Controller, so you all know who that is, from the federal government, allowing banks to now come in and custody our Bitcoin, the middleman is stepping back into the cryptocurrency space. And we must get the word out to our community that we cannot fall victim or fall prey to that same exact thing again. So that's actually one of the things that I'm hell bent about, is making sure that our community does not allow middlemen to take our coins and custody our stuff again, because we can do it on our own. We don't need them. And so we got to make sure that we are creating this massive ownership where you control your wealth, not the bank. You control your wealth, not the bank. And I kept saying it yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself why. Why is it when you go to the bank and you need $10,000, you got to make an appointment because they don't have your money in the bank? You put it in the bank and you should be able to get it out exactly when you want to. But why do you have to leave the bank and come back in a day or two so that they can order your cash? Why do you have to tell them what you're using it for? Why do you? Why? So you got to start asking yourself. They control your wealth. They control your money. They control everything that you do, because if you can't get that money out, you can't do the things that you want to do. And so it is time for us to take back what we own, and that's our money and our wealth, and we can do it in a different way. But this also in this cryptocurrency space and the way that we're setting this up, it allows you to be or get a hedge against inflation, because the dollar, as we know, is losing its value. I feel like I'm preaching the same thing over and over and over again, but a lot of people are not getting it. But Bitcoin is holding right now it's holding its own purchasing power. And so you can't just sit on the sidelines, ladies and gentlemen. You have got to educate yourself. You've got to take action, and you've got to become a part of this movement. And so this particular show is coming before I start in May, really making sure that 1 million families have 1 million Satoshis. And again, it's going to be hard to, I don't want to say gauge it because I'm going to be able to gauge it, but I don't want to put people's information out there. And you don't need to put your information out there. You can share the 1 million Satoshi, 1 million family thing that we're going to do to make sure that our communities get Bitcoin in their portfolio. But I don't want you all sharing that you are the holders of this Bitcoin, because when it matters, nobody needs to know that you have it except you and your loved ones. And you got to make sure that your loved ones are positioning themselves as well to be able to win. So Bitcoin is changing so many lives. I had a senior come in yesterday. Actually, he came to two of my events, living right here in South Central Los Angeles. And he came to two of my events yesterday, and he has a total of 2 Bitcoin himself. And he got one of them, fortunately, when it was about $4,200, $4,100, somewhere around there, and is really feeling good. And I've got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it is not affecting his Social Security, because when Social Security runs his bank accounts or run his assets, they can't see his Bitcoin in his wallet, in his private wallet. So a lot of people are not really understanding how it feels to be sovereign and not have to worry about not having so much money in the bank, because Social Security is going to cut them off and do some of those things. And I'm not saying hide it, but I am saying that you can do things with Bitcoin in your private wallet that you would not be able to do if you are in the traditional system, because the traditional system wants you to stay poor so that you can depend on them. And when you depend on them, they can tell you what to do. And so we don't have to be static in our investing. We don't have to be static in our wealth. We can actually really benefit from what is coming down the pipe. And so that's why I'm so passionate about educating our community. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the tools. We've got the blueprint in El Salvador. We've got the power in our minds. Everything that we do as a community, we are the leaders. We're the people that invent it. We're the people that make it happen, and other people just capitalize off of us. But what if for the first time in history, ladies and gentlemen, we can pull together on something, be quiet about it, be stealth-like, and make sure that our community is stacking their Satoshis. And so what you can do, how this can affect you, is you can be the first person in your family to have 1 million Satoshis and help every other family member that you have get their million. Again, little by little by little, and then all at once, they will have 1 million Satoshis. We can do this. So again, we've got the tools, we've got the blueprint, we got the power to change everything for our community. So I'm super excited about that. And when we come forward, we are going to continue the conversation. This is KBLA Talk 1580. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Dory on purpose. And ladies and gentlemen, I am going to be on Dory's on purpose. I'm going to be on her podcast this week coming, and I'm super, super excited about that. So watch my social media, and you will get that. And for those of you just now tuning in on different platforms, my book is called Queens in Crypto. Please get it. I will be coming to a city near you to sign it. I promise you, I'm going to get there. I'm talking with a good sponsor right now to get out and make it happen. And so I'm excited about that. And I'm super, super excited. So I have 30 seconds getting back on, and I'm almost at the top of my hour. So I'm going to make sure that you all are on. We got to be on point. So I'm going to repeat what I said, because I got to get people to grab this book for this book signing on Saturday here in Los Angeles. All right. All right, welcome forward, everyone. So, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to grab a copy of my book, Queens and Crypto. It is on Amazon. It's the Black Woman's Guide to Ruling Digital Assets. It's a guide for anybody, actually, that's looking to understand how to navigate the world of Bitcoin and build generational wealth. And when you get that book, it takes you about 2 days to get it. So make sure you order it early. And mark your calendars for my upcoming book signing. It is this next Saturday, May the 3rd. It is going to be at Nipsey Hussle's Stepfather's Restaurant, Bayou Grill. I'm going to be there from 1 to 4. Come enjoy some great food. I'm treating y'all to food and drinks and things of that sort, getting the book signed. We're going to have a whole program around what we're doing or what Nipsey has inspired me to do and what I'm doing. And this is your chance to really learn about the basics and start your own journey towards financial freedom. And, we are still running the Bitcoin Bank where you can buy your Bitcoin and things of that sort. If you're across the country, all you got to do is log on to the Bitcoin Bank with the Q.co. And again, the Bitcoin Bank with the Q.co, and really just start to buy your Bitcoin. You can buy with all kinds of things, Visa, MasterCard, all of that. You can wire money, you can send over all kinds of things. So just go ahead and start on your million Satoshis. And again, today, a million Satoshis is $940 something. Spend $9.40, even spend $4.90 and get a little bit of Bitcoin till you can add up to your million Satoshis. So you can be one of the families that has a million Satoshis in your portfolio. And, we may just have to go public with this and let people know who has a million Satoshis, not necessarily where they live, but we're going to be here to serve our community with better Bitcoin and better services. I'm saying better Bitcoin with Bitcoin and better service. So we got to get back to the basics, ladies and gentlemen, because it is that time. So start building your wealth, ladies and gentlemen. Start preparing for any unforeseen things that are coming up. Really start to educate yourself. Listen to more podcasts. Join communities that are talking about Bitcoin. Just really start spreading the word. I have a Bitcoin starter kit that you can give to your friends and your family, your communities, your pastors. And we need to bring more people into the movement, and we need to do it quickly. Again, I really feel like we are in a state of emergency. Y'all just remember, this isn't just about making money. It's about creating a legacy. It's about breaking free from some of these systems that were never designed for us to win in the first freaking place. We got to build something together. We got to build something better, and we got to build something for the next generation. So that's my time for today, y'all. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to Ahead of the Crypto Curve, where we stay ahead of the game so you don't have to get left behind. So don't forget, beautiful people, financial freedom is just a decision away. And until next time, stay empowered, stay educated, stay inspired, and I'll see you right here next week as we continue to close the wealth gap. Peace and blessings, family.
You're listening to Naja Roberts on Ahead of the Crypto Curve. Please follow her on all social media platforms at Naja Roberts. No underscores, no dots, no numbers, just Naja Roberts. Let's close the wealth gap. It's our turn.
All right, y'all. Thank you all. I appreciate you.
Create your own economy. Let's get ahead of